Well, good morning, everybody. Bright and early on for at least our area of the world, a little chilly Friday morning. Thank you all for joining us here today. I've got a really large group for a Friday morning. I don't know if it's the earlier time or the fact that we're doing it on Friday every once in a while, but I appreciate y'all joining us here today. We're going to talk today about Social Security claiming, and our guest speaker is going to be Dave Pimper. This is one of our more popular and regularly broadcast webinars because there is so much ongoing interest, and I do see that interest starting to blossom a little bit right now. I think the idea that in many areas of the country we're able to do seminars and things like that and get back in front of people on a regular basis is reigniting some interest in Social Security claiming as a tool to get in front of clients. I don't think either we can underestimate it as a tool to help our current clients and to just kind of expand our client base with a really valuable level of expertise on a very, very important subject matter. So we're going to gain a lot of that with Dave Pimper today. Dave has been working himself in the Social Security claiming seminar business for about the past 10 years or so with great success. He will probably tell you that Social Security claiming, whether he's presenting via seminar, via radio, is his most popular expertise that he meets clients based on. So great way to meet people, the right people that you want to meet. Obviously, when you're talking about retirement income, Social Security is a big part of that, but there are many other facets to that need to be explored to really do a great job for a prospect or a client. So Dave is going to talk about how we transition from talking about just Social Security to maybe talking about a broader approach as to how that fits into their entire retirement income portfolio. So great webinar today. Dave will be joining us shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you a few things about IAMS that I think you'll be interested to know. And I know many of the folks on here today are folks that regularly do business with us, which is great. Thank you for that. There are some of you that are either considering or haven't yet joined IAMS. So I want to make sure that you are aware of our new producer builders, and specifically you can see there's some new producers opportunities built around radio, around seminars, around Social Security mailings that would be particularly of interest to folks that may be listening in today. If you just want to take a trip to the Ritz-Carlton with your guest, or maybe claim in terms of cash as well, that's certainly an availability for you as well. But basically, what the way the program works is during your first 180 days of being appointed with IAMS, when you do business at various levels, you can choose from various awards that fit for you. Now, one thing I will say before I move on from this slide is that if you're already doing something or you want to try something that has a similar dollar cost, we're certainly glad to consider that for you. The goal here from our standpoint, I mean, we'd love to reward you with incentives, and there's a few of those on there, but the real goal of our new producer builders, as the name would imply, is to help you grow and get to that next level of business and meet new clients and just overall grow your client base. So whatever we can do to do that, whether it's one of these things or something you want to try or something you're already trying with some good results, certainly interested in any one of those opportunities. Another couple things that we do that help our agents on a regular basis grow their businesses: marketing reimbursement and our referred producer money program. You can see the basic details in front of you on the screen. Just know that when you do business with IAMS, everything that you do gets a little marketing reimbursement that goes into your marketing reimbursement account. When you go to spend money to grow your business, then you send us a receipt and we will match your spend dollar for dollar. So it kind of doubles the value of your marketing. So if you're willing to spend 100, we'll take 100 out of your marketing reimbursement and spend that on your behalf as well. Really, the idea from our standpoint is to encourage as much of that as we can, because there's really not been a better time to do that when you think about where we're at with a little market volatility and interest rates starting to climb up a little bit right now. CD rates still lagging. Market turmoil always causes folks in their basic age range, that 50+ age range, to run back to safety and security and guarantees and guaranteed income, which we're really good at that, as you all know. So it is a great time to advertise and get your name out in front of folks. Referred producer program, we send out more money there than any other program right now. And that's because our business was basically built on referrals, which I need to thank. I know many of you on, or a few of you on board with us today are regular referrers. We appreciate that, and hopefully you appreciate those quarterly checks that you get. It's, again, a simple program. If they get appointed with us, when you refer them, and you can just tell them, Art, your sales director, you can just say, hey, you might give Joe Thomas a call, and if Joe Thomas gets appointed, we put him in the system as a referee from you, and we will send you a check immediately for $50. And when they do business, then that's when the money starts growing for you. You start seeing a nice return based on a bonus that you receive for every piece of business that they do. So if you haven't referred anyone to us and seen how that can work, that's really when I find people that get more excited about the referral program, is after they've maybe referred somebody over, received a couple referral bonus, and said, hey, this is real money. And it is real money. So take advantage of those if you have not already. I want to make sure you're all taking advantage of our e-app system. And many of you are familiar with Firelight because, as you know, that's the preferred e-app system of many carriers. And the key is, from our standpoint, is that we did put that on our website as a single sign-on. So you can go to our website and then access most of the carriers that you would like to do business with at one site. So it saves you from having to remember a lot of stuff in terms of usernames and passwords. And that's one small thing. The other thing that is very helpful for you is that now that information for multiple carriers on your clients is in one system. So let's say you're going to do 2 apps on one client, and you want to do 2 e-apps. You can do that, then cut and paste that information over. Let's say you want to do that 2 years later. We can cut and paste the information over there. Obviously, some things may have changed, but it can save you a lot of time. So if you haven't used e-apps and see how they work from just an ease of use standpoint, I find that usually the first 2 or so, folks are not necessarily enamored with it. They're thinking, well, this is harder. And then after that, they can't figure out why they hadn't been doing it all their lives. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. If you want to get signed on with our single sign-on and access all the carriers via our site, just give your sales director a call or go on the website, and you'll see a little under e-app solutions, you'll see a Firelight, and if there's one to register and one to access, and if you haven't registered, you register. Literally, that takes 3 minutes. All you need to do is put in your name and email address, and then we approve you. And then after that, you can go in and do your e-apps directly from our site. Very, very easy. One thing that is highly, highly undersold about that is the quicker turnaround that you get. There's just no doubt that when an app comes into a carrier in electronic format, it goes into their system quicker, and we're seeing apps go in and out the same day through their suitability process and everything that that is needed on their end. Whereas it probably takes, right now, carriers are probably taking an average of 3 days to do a manual input of an application. That's really gotten worse or better, depending on how you look at it, over the past 2 or 3 years, as more people have converted to e-apps. It's just the paper apps just kind of go to the bottom of the pile because e-apps are so much easier for them to process and get in and out. So if you haven't taken advantage of e-apps, I would encourage you to do so. If you need some help with that, we've got great videos that can help you through the process and make it easier. Or call your sales director up, or call one of our admin folks. We can help you through that process. I got to get moving here. So our advertising team, we call it Creative Marketing Solutions, but really they're just your advertising team. You call them up and let them know what you're trying to do. They've probably done it already for somebody else and can give you some feedback as to how we can do it better. If you need a website, you need a Facebook setup, you need your LinkedIn assistance, whatever you need in the digital social world, they can help you with. And as far as going, in the paper and business card, they can help you with that as well. It is really a ton of things that they are able to do for our producers. Many of them are pretty stock that you can just get your logo and put it on a nice mailer or something that you want to send out to your clients, or something you want to insert with mailings you're already doing to your clients, things like that. So they can do that in just a couple of minutes. They're going to do whatever they can pro bono. They're going to do everything else at cost. The bottom line there is that's obviously for us that's just a pass-through entity, and the real goal is to help you grow your business. And I know we're aligned on that from your standpoint. The Retirement Analyzer, again, if you have need on the creative side, advertising side, give your sales director a call, let them know what you're looking for, and they'll get you pointed in the right direction. Retirement Analyzer is a software tool. Many of you use a software tool like this, which is great. I think you've noted already the difference it can make when you're sitting and talking to your client, and you can have something, a tool like this that you can go through and very, very specifically address, where they're at now, where they're headed to, and where they might have some shortfalls or some things that they need to change up. That's what the Retirement Analyzer is. You can see some of the questions there before you of the things that you can answer. What I would encourage you to do also is kind of look at how the graphics look, see if that might be, a picture does tell 1,000 words, and people see red lines and green lines, and really kind of puts into high relief, where they're at, and do I match up from a risk profile as to where I think I am? Most people don't. Am I on track to do what I want to be able to do in retirement? Well, most people can get there, but they need a little guidance, and that's what the Retirement Analyzer is all about. You could also do Social Security claiming. You can do Roth conversion information. There's a lot of things you can do on the Retirement Analyzer software, and the beauty of it is that if you are doing business with IAMS, we take care of the cost of that. There's a monthly fee for usage that's $60 or $70 or $80. I don't even know anymore. But for our producers, we take care of the cost of that. So you get access, you'll be able to use it, and there's some expandability to that. You can use it in a much greater way and get much more information automatically put into that. But the base software that we make available to you is at our expense, and we're glad to do that for you. Even if you're not doing business with us and you want to try it, see how it might work, give Marcus a call. It's at the office here, 800-255-5055. He'll get you a link, let you try it out. If you get to where you like it, you want to do business with us, and that's great. If you look at it and you're not going to use it, I would certainly appreciate if you let Marcus know that, so we can not have to pay that cost for you. And you can also reach Marcus at marcus@iamsinc.com. That's Marcus at iamsinc.com. I'll get that over to you in a chat message here in a minute as well. IAMS Wealth, if you're looking for an RIA, you could see on screen there, increased revenue, improved client retention, strengthen client relationships. That's all true. I think anybody that you talk to that has converted from an insurance only to an insurance and wealth management would tell you that all of that stuff is very true, and it grows your business on both sides, which is awesome. If you're already in that business, or maybe you're kind of wondering how to get into that business, here's what it doesn't say on the screen there that would be useful to you. In fact, I'm going to put up a quick poll. Let me do that really quick. If you are in the process of maybe considering whether you want to get a 65 and want to know all the advantages and disadvantages, I would put yes on that poll. Maybe you have decided that you do want to get into the wealth management, you want to become an IAR, need some help with that process, then I would put yes on that poll. We've helped a lot of folks. Our growth on that side of our business has been very organic. Most of the folks that are with us in that business have grown into it via their association with us. We're very good at helping people, not only, how do I do my testing, help you through that process, but also, help you through the process of understanding how to work with your clients on that when you've basically started with them on an insurance basis only. So we can help you with that. Maybe your current RIA, you're not happy with the assistance that you're getting or the service that you're getting. Our IAMS Wealth is a very service-oriented RIA. They're built kind of on the IAMS model in terms of service and attention to our producers. Maybe you're unhappy with the payouts that you're getting. So to give you an idea, our payouts are just a little bit over 1% annually on the advisory basis, which you all know that's pretty higher than some. And we don't have a grid. So you get 100% of that 1%. You don't get 90, 80, or 70% of that 1%. So that's a nice advantage for you. And then a lot of guys that go to them tell them that they're really happy. I mean, there has to be fees associated with relationship with an RIA for a lot of reasons, but our fees are relatively low in the value that we bring for you to those fees, including a website's included, a database is included, full level services included, everything that you can think of, your E&O insurance is included. So our fees are very, very valuable. So if you have interest, certainly put yes on that poll. I see that many of you have voted, some of you are not, but I want to get moving along. If for some reason you were unable to vote or still thinking about it, or maybe you later decide that, hey, I should probably look into that, just give us a call or give your sales director a call at 800-255-5055, and we will go ahead and walk you through the basics, maybe get you set up with one of the folks over there. We've got a great team, Charles and Mike and Joan and Duncan and Mary, great team over there that can help you and help you through the process. So close that out. Okay, Top Producer Summit. We're going to go on a great cruise this year. We're going to start, as you can see, in Rome, and then we're going to go to Venice. And that sounds like a short cruise, but actually it's not, because we're going all the way down and kind of around the boot of Italy and coming back up with Italy on one side and Greece, Croatia, and Montenegro on the other side. And the beauty of that is you're going to be able to see it all go past your cabin, because everybody that joins the IAMS Top Producer Summit is going to have a balcony. In fact, everyone is going to be in the concierge level, which means you get early on. You get to beat the masses onto the boat, and you get to beat the masses off the boat, and you get somebody to shine your shoes and press your clothes, and 24/7 access to all of the food and drink that you could imagine. So I would diet before the Top Producer Summit, and then, of course, we'll be burning up a lot of calories trekking around Greece and Venice and Rome and Sicily and the beautiful Sorrento, Capri. If you've never been there, it's a beautiful port and island area. So a lot of great things to see there. I hope you can join us. Qualification is 4.5 million. Qualification actually started about 14 months ago, and there's still 4 months left. Qualification continues through the end of June. We'd love to have you and your guests join us. I know that you're going to be happy with what I think will be kind of a trip of a lifetime. So look forward to having you join us there. All right, Dave Pimper, the coach, getting ready to join us, or maybe he already has. Are you with us, Dave? Probably getting signed on, so he'll join us in just a minute. As he's joining us, I want to just give you kind of the quick on Dave Pimper, just so you know who's going to be presenting to you. Dave is in the business now for just a little over 40 years. He's up to about 550, 560 seminars that he has done, and Social Security claiming seminars have been a good part of that. He does radio and has about 25 or so years of experience in working in radio at one level or another. Everything from, kind of a little end of the day market report to a full-blown radio show, which he is currently working with now and having very, very good success with here. And beyond that, Dave works in the insurance and securities realms. He has a 65. He has Series 6, 7, 24. He has ability to supervise on the security side, and very high level of production on the annuity and the securities side of his business, as a life insurance, and has recently added Medicare to his business as well. His staff is full. He's got 3 or 4. He had 3 support people and an additional sales individual in his group, and it's really been a great. He's in on the front lines every day, working to grow his business just like you. And I think if I'm you sitting out there going to learn from somebody, I would think that that'd be very important to me. This is somebody that is daily kind of in the trenches and doing business. So I'm going to put you on hold for just one moment and check in with Dave and see if he might be having a slight technical difficulty.
If I take it off of mute, everything's perfect.
Well, I don't know. Some people may think that mute's the perfect thing for you.
Maybe they want me on mute. Who knows?
Well, not today. Not today. We got to walk through all of your experience, kind of what we're going to talk about today. Touch just for a moment on what you do via seminars and radio around Social Security claiming. So the table is fully set, and they are ready to hear from the coach, Dave Pimper.
Okay, good. What slide do you have up, Steve? I have the "Would you like to learn more about IAM?" So do you have my seminar up yet or not?
I do. Let's see why your view is different. Hold on, let me look at the audience view.
Because that's why I didn't think you were all the way through yet. So my bad.
Oh, maybe I need to close that poll out. That's the problem. Okay, I will do that.
Okay, good. So as Steve's doing that, this is Dave Pimper, and I mean Steve, you can tell we got a ton of people on the line today. So a lot of people are interested about Social Security, rightly so. Most advisors don't know a thing about Social Security. And we're going to take a test that 1 in 300 Americans couldn't guess all five, or couldn't guess or didn't know all five answers. So there's a lot here, and the big thing about Social Security claiming is you're thinking, well, how can that add revenue to my bottom line? Because you don't make money from Social Security claiming, understanding it. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's helped my business immensely. I've been in the business for 40 years, started in 1981 in July, and for almost 11 years now, I've known Social Security. So about a quarter of the time, and it's really has made a major impact. So Steve, he's working on that. Good. Okay, so let's get going. If you got questions, just type them on in. We'll be more than happy to answer that. This webinar is going to take about just right at 30 minutes. So we'll be done between quarter till and 10 till the top of the hour. And again, if you have any questions, type them on in. This is a quote from Sarah O'Brien. It says, most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. It says a major of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, and that is Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor. A recent study concluded. That is from CNBC. That's word for word. Even if they work with a financial advisor, I cannot tell you how many times a person did business with me because I knew Social Security claiming. Why don't more advisors know about Social Security claiming? They don't see how it can make them money. It's complicated. Unless you have somebody walking you through and helping you through, it's very, very hard to learn it on your own. I did by going to different seminars, symposiums, reading tons of books, getting everything I could, but having someone working with you, that's key. So let's do this, and we'll go in and we will take this test, once we're up and running, because I know that Steve's still working on that. This is from USA Today, from Jana Heron, about 2.5 years ago. It was in July 1st of 2019. This is word for word again. It says, doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. And then it asks, how much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? And listen to this closely. Retirees will lose an average, that's not on the high end, that's an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Solely because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. Isn't that something? Only 4%. Well, what about if you're helping people and the ones that you're helping, not 100% do it, but maybe you help a third of those people. Well, now all of a sudden we're at 33%. You're helping half of those people get a better benefit. Yeah, it's a big, big deal.
Social I'm going to ask Security, you to keep going. I'm going to have to get a little technical assistance so we can get through the slides. Give me
that's all right. Yeah, we got it. Thinking about Social Security, it's been around for a long time. Been around since 1935. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the first person to go in, and that's when Social Security started. Under the Social Security Act, the first check, they had to build up the trust fund, but it was 1940. But in the beginning, the only age you could take Social Security was 65. That was the only age you could take it. Well, now you can take as early as 62 at a discount, or you can wait later and take it as late as 70 and have it increased. There was no Social Security taxation until the trust fund, which now has 2.8 trillion, like making Warren Buffett little, trillions of dollars. It basically was down to zero in 1983, and that's when taxation started. If you're above certain brackets, not everybody pays taxation on Social Security, but if you're above some brackets, I'll go through those a little bit later, you will pay Social Security. There's other FMOs. They're just basically kind of shock treatment and saying, hey, find out what all of the changes in Social Security is, the major changes. There hasn't been a major change since 2015, implemented in 2016 on the Bipartisan Budget Act. That took file and suspend and phased it out over 6 months. Took restricted application, which if you're born before January the 2nd of 1954, you can still do it, but there aren't many people now that can still use that. But that's still in effect for about almost another 2 years. There's the only real changes there are year to year right now is just cost of living, which is high this year, 5.9%. And you know what? It was 1.3% last year. That's the highest cost of living since early 1980s, like 1983. So 39 years. So ask yourself, how important is Social Security? We have slides. Hey, Steve, what I'm going to do here.
Yeah, can you see it on your screen now?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, yeah. I got it right now. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm actually going to skip the test, Steve, if that's okay. And get in a little. So, we're going to be done at about quarter till. So this isn't going to be will not be a long webinar because I can go through this. Here we go. This is perfect. Thank you, everybody, for a little technology glitch. But how important is Social Security? It says on your screen, 59% of retirees count on their Social Security benefit to be a major source of income. Wow. It's a big deal. 59%. Okay? So more than 401ks, more than personal savings. Remember when I told you before there's 3 important dates or times for Social Security? Yeah. Kind of Social Security 101 is full retirement age is somewhere between, it depends on when you were born, but what happens is your full retirement age is somewhere between 66 and 67. That's when you get your full benefit. You go in and get a reduced benefit if you take earlier than that, early as 62, and then the benefit grows, guaranteed 8% a year if you wait after full retirement age. So big deal. Can Social Security have a huge value? You darn right. But it's if you claim at your right time. Not the right time, not a right time, but claiming at your right time. For a married couple, there's 567 options of when you can claim Social Security. That's wild. And you're trying to give them the best option. If you have any questions, type them in. About $2.8 or $2.9 trillion in the trust fund. Ran a net increase in 2020. Now, 2021, with the pandemic, people retiring, laid off, furloughed, a lot of people took Social Security, just early retirement. Yeah, I think there'll be the first deficit for years and years and years. And when they talk about the trust fund, the Social Security going bankrupt, they're talking about the trust fund running out of money. Now, remember, payroll taxes are still, that's the majority, almost 90% of all the revenue that comes in is from payroll taxes, the 6.2% you pay, the 6.2% your employer pays, or if you're self-employed, both ends of that, 12.4. But that's still coming in, which would keep about 75 to 80% of the revenue stream would still happen. But yeah, we'd run out of money in the trust fund in about 2034. Are there things we can do? Yeah. But there's going to probably be some kind of taxation increase. I hope there's some kind of age increase also. I don't think it's going to affect someone in their 60s, but it might if you're in your 30s or 40s or even 50s. And they'll phase this in over 10 years to firm up Social Security Trust Fund. Now, here are facts, not fiction, but facts about Social Security. It's a pay-as-you-go system with payroll taxes. That's the major way, 90%. There's a little bit of interest on the bonds or IOUs. There also is a little bit of taxation to make up about the $1 trillion that is paid out each year. Does the U.S. borrow against those special issue treasury bonds? They do. And they issue IOUs. They pay interest on the IOUs. It's not a Ponzi scheme, but some people say it is because it's not backed by gold or backed by silver, backed by bonds. It's backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. You know what that sounds a lot like? The dollar bill in your pocket. or the $100 bill in your pocket. There's nothing physically hard that backs that. So until we have trouble with cash for backing currency, I'm not going to be concerned. It's not a Ponzi scheme. Absolutely not. Been around for a long, long time. Not going away. Now, figuring out Social Security, yeah, it does get complicated. But to break it down kind of simply, you need 40 quarters of coverage. That means you have to have enough income come in to go in and to get a quarter of coverage, which is $1,510 in 2022. That's $6,040 for the year. You get 4 quarters. You cannot get any more than 4 quarters in any given year. 4 quarters is the max. You need 40 of those, so 10 years of working. That enables you to have Social Security benefits. If you have 39 quarters, you don't get it. You don't get anything. This isn't prorated. You get none. Then it's the earnings over your working career. This year, the most you can make and still pay for on Social Security is $147,000. If you make $300,000, no, anything above $147,000, you're not putting in the 6.2%. So it is capped. This year, like at full retirement age, it's just under $3,300. That is about $3,300. That's the maximum you can make on Social Security this year. Okay, if you maxed every year, and then they take your 35 highest years of inflation adjusted earnings. So even though you only made back in the 80s, you only made 18,000. That might be one of your highest years, if not capped out year, because of inflation. If you start your benefit earlier, it's reduced. You wait longer, it's increased. That's the basics of Social Security claiming. Now, what's interesting is we, IAMS, FMO, and Dave Pimper Coach, we offer 3 ways that you can get taught up, or in the backwoods of Nebraska, you can get learned up on Social Security claiming. And I do it. It's myself. Is that you can do it through Social Security seminars. We're really very excited with our seminar. Marketing is really coming back strong now. Not quite at the pre-pandemic numbers, but we're getting close. People, they're wanting information. 10,000 people retiring. 10,000 people turning 65 every day. That means about 10,000 people turning 64, 63, 62, 61, 60. But that 55 to 70, that rollover business, I mean, that's a big asset, one of the largest assets of the family. That's what we're working with day in and day out. We guarantee 35 signups. Like right now, I have a Social Security workshops, 2 off the same campaign next week, and I've got 33 signed up right now. I'm sure I'll have well over 40, which I'm very happy with. So we pay for the Social Security claiming. We pay, IAMS pays me to coach you up. They stipend me to coach you up. I'm not in your hierarchy. I get a stipend from IAMS if you're on board and doing business. But I coach you up on Social Security. Second way, and those seminars, I'll tell you, we're hoping for 10 appointments, 10 or more appointments. Retirement Boss Radio. I mean, our goal is to get 10 appointments per week on an hour radio show called Retirement Boss Radio. Take charge of your money. Wild. I mean, it doesn't happen always, but I had 6 set appointments set by the inbound call center last week. Just great. And then what happens is that we coach you up there also on that with Social Security. The seminar cost is $2,750. The radio cost normally is $3,000 to $4,000, but marketing to get in front of people, and we coach you up at no charge with both of those on Social Security claiming. And then lastly, if you just don't want marketing, I just want to learn it, Dave. Yeah, it's $800. There's 4 sessions. You get all the attachments, and on all those, you can use me at any time that you want to. Okay, from there on out, as long as you're contracted with IAMS, doing business through IAMS, yes. And we don't. This isn't where you have to have all your contracts either. You know, we just want the kind of the due diligence that there will be business ran through, but we want you to get really coached up on Social Security claiming. Oh, and I'll go back on the last slide. That if you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. Stair steps. Like I was born at 55. It's 66 years and 2 months. Stair steps all the way up to 1960 or later, age 67. Okay, a baby born today, 67 is full retirement age. May not be in the future, but it is now. So you can apply at age 62, but there's going to be somewhere between a 25 and 30% discount. You're only going to get 75% of your money. At full retirement age, you get all of your money, depending on if it's 66 or 67, but all. And then if you wait later, you're guaranteed to get 8% a year. That's a lot, believe me. Now, I'm a believer if you know those 5 things. If you know the individual benefit, the spousal benefit, divorce spouse benefit, survivor benefit, and restricted application, I'll tell you right now, you can answer 85% of all, and we really go into depth on all those. Those are the exact slides that I teach from, but I don't go into near the depth on a webinar like today. That we're just kind of hitting the high points. I won't tell you, if you don't know Social Security inside and out, and you are working that retirement crowd, if you're not working the retirement crowd, yeah, I understand. If you're working in the 20s, 30s, the millennials, yeah, it isn't nearly as important. But if you're working for that rollover money, you're doing that fixed index or fixed or life or securities or from that 55 to 70, the reason I do is because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. So let's take this on the spousal benefit. Dave's PIA, that stands for primary insurance amount, PIA, $2,400 in this hypothetical illustration. Amy's PIA is $1,000. Dave takes his $2,400. Amy takes $1,000. Dave, that's the most he can get, $2,400. Amy though has an option. She can take all of hers, which is $1,000, or she could take half of Dave's, whichever is higher. Half of Dave's is $1,200. What does Amy do? Darn right. She's going to take half of Dave's. And that's done automatically by the Social Security Administration. I would check it, but it's done automatically. So really, the way Social Security looks at it, Amy gets $1,000 of her own benefit, and then she gets a $200 top up of a spousal benefit. That's how spousal benefits work. How about divorce spouse? Divorce spouse and survivors, all kinds of money is left on the table because people just don't know they can do this. So there's 4 things that have to be line up to get a divorced spouse benefit, as if you're still married to them. First of all, your marriage lasted 10 years or longer continuously. Second thing is you're currently unmarried. The one taking the benefit, not the ex, but the one taking the benefit has to be unmarried. Thirdly, the ex has to be at least 62 or older. And lastly, the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. If those 4 stars and moons all line up, you can use your ex as if you're still married to them. Why is that a really big deal? Because there's tons of options that you get that can be in your favor for spousal Social Security couples and not single. Lesser benefits if you're single. So the divorced spouse benefit, tons of it left. You have to ask for this benefit. It's not given to you automatically. Social Security survivor benefit. Again, it has to be asked for. It's biblical. If you ask, you receive. If you don't ask, you don't get it. So here's what happens. Dave and Amy are married. They're both over full retirement age, so no discounting and make it simple. Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. Who normally dies first, the guy or the gal? If you said guy, you're right. 75% of the time, the guy kicks off first. So Dave dies. Now, Amy's has an option. She can jump up to Dave's upon request, or she can just keep her $1,200. She can't get them both. She can't get hers and her deceased. Once the deceased is gone. But you can jump up. So what is she going to do? She's going to drop her benefit, jump up to Dave. She has to request this or she doesn't get it. Excuse me. Another cool thing about survivor benefit, if that can be cool, is that at age 60, you can start taking like the survivor benefit. It's discounted 28.5%. I just talked to a guy yesterday that's doing this. His benefit's about 2,400. His wife's benefit was about 1,700. And so what happens is that does he get the full 1,700 at age 60? No. It's reduced to about around $1,250. But he can let his grow and grow and grow and grow. It's about 5% up to full retirement age, guaranteed 8% after that. What happens is his benefit's going to grow to like 3,600. He's going to turn it on at age 60 or age 70. So he gets a discount right now, but he gets money coming in to the family. Pretty darn cool on survivor benefits. Now, coordinating spousal benefits, yeah, it's a tricky one, and not many people can do it right now. Big thing is you have to be born before January the 2nd in 1954. That'll put you like, you're 68 and nearly like a month and a half old. Okay, the ex doesn't need to be, but the spouse, but you do. So here's what happens is it works to say Amy's PIA primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age is $1,000. Base PIA primary insurance amount is $2,400. Amy takes hers, which she has to in this hypothetical. Dave wants his to keep growing the 8%. So they bring some money in the household, $1,000. Well, that's great. That in itself is very, very good. But under restricted application, now Dave can go out and reach and get a spousal benefit. Half of Amy's. That's $500, free money. That $500 times 12 months is $6,000 a year. In 2 years, $12,000. It's a big, big deal. It's just free money. Not many people take advantage of this. Less than 1% that would help them. So what can Social Security personnel do or can't do? Well, they can't give you advice. They can't ask you what kind of income sources do you have right now or upon retirement. What do your assets look like? How is your health? How's the DNA of your family? Where are your expenses at? What are your goals, your financial goals when you retire? Do you need to live in that same lifestyle income-wise that you started? They can't ask you any. They can just give your highest benefit right now. So if you just want to benefit, they're the people. If you want to get advice, come to Dave Pimper, someone who knows Social Security. That's why this is so strong. In fact, this comes right from the operational manual. Look at D. This is for the workers at Social Security. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. They can't give advice. Best benefit right now. Can't scenario plan for you. So those are important. I normally don't read from the slides, but I will on this. But income streams, and there's 5 pillars of income. But it says Social Security is not a standalone income stream. And I always say Social Security is the worst corporate water cooler talk there is. Hey, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, I waited to 70 and you should too. No, it's like saying, hey, I love the color violet and you should too. Makes no difference whatsoever what somebody else did. It's what you did. It's a personalized plan for you. And I'm telling you right now, we just touch base on those slides. If you were coaching with me, you got which I call it the Bible of Social Security. We used to read 3 or 4 books. I read this book every single year, cover to cover in January, every year. And I always pick up something. I know all the basic rules, but there are always some unique rules that I pick up. You get that. It's like $20. You can buy it used off of Amazon. But what happens is that it's what somebody else did very well may be just the opposite of what you should do. It's the most flexible. You can start it when you want to. Thirdly, claiming at your right time, not the right time or a right time. In survivor benefits, when you start looking at kind of the break-even point, survivor changes that. So here's the 5 pillars of income. Wages, fuller part, pensions. Number 3, and this is where we fact find income-producing assets. So I get every dormant 401k, current 401k, in-service non-hardship withdrawals when you're 59 and a half and your company allows you to take money. I just did one. Just within the last week. million plus dollars on an in-service non-hardship withdrawal. Pretty neat. And I'm not just making this up. The reason she called me because she knew that I knew Social Security, came from a referral. Pretty cool. But all of the savings accounts, bank accounts, cash value, real estate, anything, land, brokerage account, anything to do with monies, that's where we fact find that on 3. RMDs, those are traditionals, that's 72, and then we start Social Security when we've lined up those other 4. Very flexible. So as we're finishing on up here, got to ask yourself, so when should I claim? There's so many different benefits. Your personal health history, income, assets, there's just so much to consider when you're looking at Social Security claiming. So remember, it's paid for your Social Security training and coaching by seminar marketing or Retirement Boss radio marketing, see, to me, that's key, because you can know everything about Social Security or everything about a product, but if you're not in front of enough people, you're poor. I mean, I'm loaded up with appointments. I'll get anywhere from 10 to 16, 17 appointments, from Social Security next week. And those are beautiful. I mean, over half of those people will lead to finding money and going to second appointments. Retirement Boss Radio, we on both seminar marketing and radio marketing, we pay for it. IM pays me to coach you. The FMO does, or just 4 sessions. I don't want any marketing, Dave, any extra costs. I got enough leads coming in, or can't afford it. You pay $800. You'll know a lot more about Social Security when you end than when you started. A lot more. So as we're finishing on up, there's an old saying. It says, "Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow or start tomorrow." You never start. You don't start because you're procrastinating. If you heard something that you like today, you should absolutely go in and mark yes. Steve is going to put up a poll, and that poll is, hey, I'd like to get more information on Social Security, how maybe it could help my practice. This is, believe me, Brady will call you, get a good time for me, good time for you. It's about a 15, 20-minute conversation, but then I'll give it over to Steve Murray, CEO of IAMS. But I will say this: Social Security changed my business to the much better. I have so many more people to contact. That rollover business, in-service non-hardship withdrawal business, that just about ready to retire business, it's just huge. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars are rolling over each and every year. I only need so many million to make a fine living, and that's the same as yourself. So would you like more information on Social Security? We're going to keep this up. Steve, I'm going to turn it on over to you as we're kind of finishing here and see if there's questions or anything else that we need to talk about. We have a ton of people on the phone, on the line, so I know a lot of people want that information.
Yes. So a couple questions regarding obviously we had a little bit of a hiccup, and so can I make the slide presentation available? And I can. What Dave kind of passed over was a quiz type of thing that he put together, which is the quiz questions, and the answers are on there. So I can certainly, if anybody wants that, just shoot me an email at steve@imzinc.com, and I'll get that out. Dave did cover most of the ins and outs that are covered on that quiz, so it could be beneficial, might not, but I'm certainly glad to forward that along. Benefits of Social Security. So there's a couple questions from folks about how do we think the benefits of Social Security will be impacted. Do you think there's any upcoming changes? I don't know if you have any opinion on that. Do you think there's any imminent changes coming to Social Security in the near future, Dave? By that, I mean in the next couple of years, the Social Security benefits for clients besides what we already know in terms of COLAs increasing and things like that.
I do. I think what's going to happen is, because we are going to run out of money in the trust fund, I'm sure we'll start pulling when the trustees report comes out for 2021. I think it's going to be the first time that we've taken in the trust fund has gone down in value since 1983. Okay, I mean that it was diminished. I mean it was down to almost zero. That's when taxation started. I think under President Biden administration, there'll be some kind of compromise. I mean, the Biden administration wants to go in and do more taxation, which not many people like, and so it's a very hot potato. The Republicans will probably be more into changing the ages a little longer. Remember this: the only age you could take back in 35 was 65, and now the full retirement age is 67. 2 years when the age of longevity's gone up 17, 18 years. I just think we should change the years. And if there is some taxation, they're talking about if you make above 400,000, not many people do. It may not affect by far the majority of people. That could be okay. But yeah, I think there will be some change. I think it'll happen in the next. But by the time that President Biden is done with his administration, I think you'll see something coming on out and try to get a bipartisan vote on that. That's what I think.
And so do you think it makes sense for people that are maybe on the cusp of claiming to claim in advance of that, or do you think that'll make a difference? Will it affect everybody's benefits anyway?
No, you just go. If people are thinking about claiming, I don't think it's going to affect anybody 62 and over. Anybody. So it won't make any difference whatsoever. That's my feeling.
When you do your Social Security seminars, do you do, okay, so I should have read that before. So we didn't talk at all about a cost, but when you do your Social Security seminars, how do you go about getting people in the room, and how many seminars do you do per mailing? So you might want to talk a little bit about what's available on the Social Security seminar side that we can help folks with.
Yeah, so I never did embrace social media because I'm an old guy. I'm on Facebook, but I mean, I respond about twice a month to something with the thumbs up or smiley face on my cousin. Okay, but it's big. Social media. We tried Twitter, and we tried some other things, LinkedIn with marketing, but Facebook. Lots of people, they do look at Facebook. So our ads go through, which are less expensive than the mail, but we guarantee 35 registrants, 35 people to sign up. We've been averaging more than that, but that's the minimum. If not, you start getting money back off of the $2,750. But we've had extremely good luck for 2.5 years now or so because of a new vendor, and they do a very, very good job. He's been coached up by Facebook. He has a Facebook coach now. I mean, he's very good at what he does. He's a great marketer, and that's how we keep the cost down low and get really some good quality people and guarantee you 35 registrants. So it's one campaign, $2,750, and it's over 2 nights. If you do it one night, you're not going to get as many people there because it may be Dancing with the Stars night. That's when your seminar is. I mean, or it might be Bridge night. There might be they get their hair done, at 5:30 on that one day. So 2 days really will increase the amount of people that come.
So it's $2,750. That will guarantee you at least 35 registrants. When you have 35 registrants over 2 nights, Dave, how many people do you expect to be in front of you do yours Tuesdays and Thursdays, but how many people do you expect to be in front of?
I would say at 60% at a minimum. And there's a way that we follow up. And so if you don't do that, you're not going to get as many. But if you have 35 registrants, and you get 60%, you're going to have, on an average, if I have 10, 12 people, per night, I'm happy with that. Last time I did it, I had about 75% of the people came. So, but we've had to work on that, Steve, to get that number up because it isn't as sticky as mailed advertising. But we've got a system that works very, very well, and of course, we share that with you. Make sure that you do that also. Yep.
Yeah, the cost per registrant is about as low as you're going to find, which we're pleased that we have that available. So Tony wants to know: is it possible to pay more and have more registrants? Let's say that somebody said, "Hey, I want to get a minimum of 70 registrants." Would you think that we could accomplish that?
No, we do. We absolutely do. And I just have to talk to the vendor and find out how many that you want. And if you want a bigger amount of people, sure. I mean, we can just go in. But if a person says, "Hey, I want 300," no, we're not going to do that. If a person comes in and says, "Hey, can I go and get 55 or 60 guaranteed?" Yeah, that's within reason, and we can absolutely. We've done that before. Yep.
Good. You've had some good response. So you might talk about a couple of the more recent seminars, because I see in general that I think we've got some people from areas that maybe things are just starting to open up or haven't quite opened up yet in terms of libraries and places like that. So you do yours all at, are you currently all at libraries? I know you've used, local college, but what are you doing right now in terms of locations for seminars?
Yep, we're doing libraries, but I've done. I mean, in the last couple of years, I've done community colleges. I've done a community center before. I've had people do it at retirement centers. But if you can do it at the library, sometimes there's some holdup at the library. Like we have to have a library card. that's our entry. You got to have the library card. But sometimes libraries could charge. Also, what happens is that with libraries, they could look at this, that you're a for-profit corporation or for-profit business, and they will not allow you in there. But I tell them, how do I make money from Social Security? I mean, I don't charge. I mean, it's free. There's no charge. They'll say, well, how do you make your money? They say, well, some of those people, they're also asking me, hey, do you do life insurance? Hey, you know what? I mean, I'm impressed. Hey, do you do securities? Hey, do you do fixed index? Hey, can you help me? I got this retirement rollover. Well, it isn't quite like that, because we're once they're in our office one-on-one, we can go in and we can sales process what's important, with that client or prospect. But most libraries, once they understand it's Social Security and that it's a community service, I would say 80-85% of all libraries will allow you to do those there. Yep.
Perfect. And let's just talk about radio for a second. Then we've got another webinar that we've got to start here in about 4 minutes. But give us a quick on what your experience has been on radio, because I think that's a great way to get in front of clients. I just don't know if we do enough of it.
Really good. Really, really good. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm averaging, and again, I've had as high, Steve, I've had as high as 22, 23 appointments in a month. The worst month I've had is 8 appointments. That's besides the first month I did it.
Yep.
8 appointments is the worst. And that is recorded. If there's a co-host, there's a production firm, we have a media buyer, and I'll tell you what, $3,000 to $4,000 all in. We even when they call in, you can answer the phones yourself. I do mine on Sunday. You can answer, but I don't want to be down here every Sunday. I just don't want to do that at 12 o'clock. So we have a high-touch inbound call center that takes our calls. I test it every couple of weeks, make sure they're answering, in a short time period, and there's not much wait. But we have an electronic calendar, a digital calendar that hooks up with our client, like myself, and the inbound call center. So, they know they don't see who my prospects or clients are, my appointments, but they have blocked off time.
Yep.
Do it every Friday. It takes us about 20 minutes. My administrator will do it, or you can do it. But it works really, really well. And we still have, of course, we're kind of branding Retirement Boss Radio, Take Charge of Your Money. It's copyrighted and only offered through Insurance Agency Market Services with coaching with Dave Temper. But do I like one better than the other? There's no doubt seminar marketing is an easier entry, but boy, you think radio is just so expensive. You become basically a star. I mean, I've had many people say, "So you're really the guy I heard on radio?" Yep, that would be
That's
Dave Temper. Yeah, and I laugh to myself a little bit. Yeah. So, but they're both any ways to get
Very
in
effective. Yep.
qualified prospects. Good. And we coach you up on Social Security, either one of those, without any cost to you at all. Any cost.
Good stuff. Thanks, Dave. Thank you all for joining us today. You will get a call from Brady to set up a time with Dave if you've requested as much. If you have any questions, give us a call here at the office at 800-255-5055. Just ask for Steve or anyone in the sales director queue, and we'll be glad to help you out and take care of your business. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Have a great weekend. And Dave, is anything you want to say as we finish up?
No, thank you very much. Sorry for the little bit of computer glitch, but have a great week and hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.